Break down Houston, San Antonio. Who wins it, Tim?
Well, I definitely like the Spurs. I agree. It could be a long series. It wouldn't shock me if that goes 6 or 7 games. I think one of the things you have to look at, San Antonio defends a three-point line better than any team in the NBA, and they've defended the Rockets incredibly well from behind the arc, 29% on the year in their 4 matchups. So San Antonio defensively, because their commitment, their communication, they just are so well prepared. It's not necessarily personnel across the board. It's more just their commitment to the game plan and executing it. And I think Houston, because of that, at the end of the day, they might have enough cold stretches in this series that San Antonio is able to take control of games. So I do like the Spurs to win it. I'm fascinated with the matchup. I want to see mainly how San Antonio defends James Harden with those high ball screens, because that is the series. It was the series against Oklahoma City. I didn't think Oklahoma City had a very good game plan with how they were going to guard James Harden, because I think they picked him up far too far out on the floor. You don't need to pick him up 35, 38, 40 feet from the basket the way that Robertson was. And then getting beat there, whether off the dribble or off of a ball screen, and now you got James Harden coming at you with a head of steam with a big guy basically backpedaling, and you're at their mercy then. Either he's going to get to the line, shoot a layup, get fouled, or he's going to kick out when the help comes for an open three. So I see San Antonio be a little bit smarter in how they guard James Harden. And at the end of the day, I think I have more trust in San Antonio in the big moments than I will in Houston. But it's going to be a really entertaining series. Fascinating to see San Antonio try to slow this team down. I don't think Houston played particularly well offensively in the Oklahoma City series, and they still won that in 5 games. So they're an offensive powerhouse. There's no doubt about it, but I think San Antonio has defended them as well as anybody.
And then the rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals and an Eastern Conference semifinal tonight. Last year, we saw it was whichever team was at home won by 20 or more, essentially. Do we see a repeat of this, or do the Cavs make shorter work of the Raptors when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a better series than we saw a year ago, because truthfully, last year Cleveland gave the Raptors 2 games when they went up to Toronto. They just fell in love with the three-point shot. They actually were running to the line in transition when they had numbers. They were fanning out, shooting threes, fell in love with that shot, let Raptors get a couple of wins, and then went home and quickly restored order. Really, there was a lot of basketball in that series that was not competitive. This is a much better Raptors team, I think, because they've been through it. They believe in themselves, and then they made some great additions with Ibaka, P.J. Tucker. They've lengthened their rotation. They've added guys that can guard LeBron a little bit better, at least, where you need to limit the amount of help you give. And also Norman Powell, if he looks anything like he did in this last series, this is the best Toronto Raptors team maybe that we've ever seen. And I think that they believe that they're much more prepared to face a Cleveland team that they don't think is as good as last year, because defensively we know about the issues they've had. They're a little bit streakier, this team. So it comes down for me, how much can you guard LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, but particularly LeBron, without committing extra help and play them one-on-one as much as possible to try to take away the three-point shooting of their role players. And if Toronto can succeed in that, because they've got a number of guys that they can run at him, if they can get away with it for stretches in games where they don't have to double to give up, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, and Kevin Love and Kyle Korver, all these open shots these guys get, then Toronto has a real chance in this series. I mean, I'd obviously lay money on the Cavs if I had to, but I think this could be a long, hard-fought series.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.